Alright guys, Ben and Joe, aka Casper and Stopping here from CodeNamePizza. Now we've had a brilliant look at that new trailer and we've gone through frame by frame and we've got some great theories for you today. I know it's Wednesday, but this is going to be this week's Theory Thursday special and we're going to have today's video, which should have come out today, and that will be released tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed this, guys. We're going to go frame by frame and tell you everything we notice and our theories about the new Origins trailer. So I hope you enjoy it, guys. Let's get started. Okay guys, so we're going to pick out a lot of the stuff that we found interesting about this trailer and a lot of the stuff that you may not have noticed. First, we want to kind of focus on the first 20 to 30 seconds. Now this is basically just showing you all the previous maps, but going back in time. So we see Moon, Shangri-La, Ascension, we then go to Kino, Dariz, Shinonuma, Varux, and Nakdur-on-Toten. Now, is this showing us that we're going to get these map packs in the new DLC? No, we don't think so. It's just another way of showing you that we're going back in time and before any of this actually happened. So before the zombie outbreak happened, that's where we're going before, and we'll see how everything happened in this final DLC and what caused all these maps to have the storyline that they have now.
Okay, so if you pause it right here, you'll notice that there's 2 vials of blood on the belt. Now, these vials of blood, we believe, are being transported to the laboratory that Rick Toppin's working in, trying to create this super soldier. So these vials of blood are going to be injected into a body of someone who will actually become a super soldier if the blood gets injected into him. Or that's what they want to happen. But in fact, it actually causes the entire zombie outbreak to occur. So the very first zombie is created as a result of this dodgy blood being injected into a person. Now, during the trailer, you'll notice that some images actually flash up just for one frame, very briefly. And this actually shows examples of this happening. You'll see a medical table with some medical instruments with someone actually on there with the head cut off and the brain actually pulled out. Now, has this happened because the experiment's gone wrong and when he injected the blood into it, it actually turned into a zombie and the only way he could think of actually stopping it was to remove its brain? Perhaps. Anyway, going forward, we think that when this actually starts, when you start the campaign on this new DLC, there will be absolutely no zombies visible because none will have been created yet. Your job is to actually transport these vials of blood to this laboratory, and this robot is trying to stop you from doing it. So your main task and main enemy on this first small portion of the first mission will be to actually dodge and get out of the way of this robot and actually make it to the medical facility or the laboratory that you're trying to reach to actually try and deliver these vials of blood. Having said that, that will actually cause then the zombie outbreak to occur. So maybe this is just explaining how, although you try not to create the zombie outbreak at all, ultimately we actually end up creating it ourselves. So it's the 4 guys that we've been using to fight the zombies all this time actually could have created it initially. And my call would be on Takio actually doing that.
Okay, so one of the most interesting things that we've actually found on this video is a plane. Now, over the right-hand side of your screen, now I'll leave the video looping so you can constantly see it. You'll see a plane fly past just for a few frames of footage. Now, what could this actually mean? Now, the first thing that came into my head is if you think back to maybe last November when the game files actually got released for Black Ops 2, under the zombies section, there was a little thing saying airstrike not available. Now, maybe this is where this comes into play in the game, and we can actually tactically use this plane as an airstrike mechanism onto this robot to try and defend ourselves while we're trying to run through these trenches to make our way to the laboratory to deliver this blood and then hopefully make the super soldier, but then it backfires and then we end up creating this zombie outbreak.
Okay, so there are a couple of extra things that we might see in here. Like, we might see the new prototype weapon, the Morsa prototype CXS that Treyarch released the plans for the other day. We're not 100% sure, but you never know. This actually could end up being the starting weapon that you're given to try and fend off this robot. Okay, so another thing that we think we might see in here is the time bomb making a return. Possibly. You can't see all of it, so it's not 100% clear, but it could possibly mean a return of the time bomb, which again would point to actual players using tactical weapons and tactical weaponry to try and defeat this robot or to actually further the progress in the game. Another thing this could actually be, if it isn't the time bomb, is a ground-to-air communication device used to call in these airstrikes, because at the time, that any radios would have to be pretty big in order to communicate from the ground to the air.
So the final interesting thing that we have a little theory about that we want to talk about is actually the final thing that you actually see on the trailer. It's when the word Origins comes up and all the letters turn around and you hear that sound effect. Now that sound effect is actually from the map Shangri-La, and it's when all the players have to stand on the podium and the statues in front of them that's spinning around, and then it stops, so then you can make your way up to Pack-a-Punch. That sound is also heard then. So is this symbolising that we have to return to Shangri-La? We think so. How we think it's going to pan out is we do this map, and then the zombie outbreak happens, and then in the next game, which we're going to call Black Ops 3 or whatever it's going to be called, we then think that we're going to be playing as the old characters again, and we have to like kind of make our way through the stages of how this outbreak happened and all of that. So we know Richtoffen's actually already been to Shangri-La before we play it in Black Ops 1, so that'll be really interesting if we actually get to relive his steps and what he actually did in this next Call of Duty game after Call of Duty Ghosts. So how do we know that he's already been there? Well, we've told you this a couple of times now in previous videos, but you actually see his name that's inscribed into the altar when you're doing the Easter egg after you get the dynamite and blow down the wall, and we also know it from a radio that's on Moon. So this would be great if we relive the lives of our old characters that we now love, and we actually figure out how this whole outbreak happened and how they ended up being together, and the whole Group 935 situation.
Okay, so the exciting thing about this is, rather than just seeing the end result of Richtofen's grand scheme from completing the Moon Easter egg, we actually might be able to take part in actually all the other parts of the grand scheme. So we'll actually see the very first building blocks of this grand scheme, and we'll figure out exactly why and what Richtofen has been doing through time in the past. So now we're actually going to be able to relive the moments in Shangri-La and see exactly why there's that altar with his name inscribed in it, why there's that skull there, and why this has all been pre-done in order to accomplish a final goal, which was on the Moon Easter egg.
As well as this, how cool would it be if you could actually play with the characters that you've never actually seen before? Obviously, Max's would be a great character to play with, but obviously, apart from that, you've got Max's assistant, you've got Sophia, you've also got Richtofen's assistant that helped him get into the teleporter to actually get to Shangri-La. You've also got Dr. Gersh from Ascension. All those characters you might actually be able to play with in the new game. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this in-depth breakdown that we've done for you today of the new trailer for Origins. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a like, so it helps our channel. Please leave a comment in the section below telling us what you think. If you've missed anything in the trailer that you want us to know about, please let us know. And also subscribe to the channel to be the latest member of the Pizza Club. Thank you for watching, guys, and peace out.